feels like the best of times and yet the worst of times. We are seeing it everywhere. Tariff wars, the rise of AI, unemployment issues, underemployment, and even poverty. As the situation unfolds and new obstacles hit us daily, what do we feel? More fear, frustration, and stress. And then the questions hit. How can we possibly succeed in all this? Where are the real solutions? How do we even find the right path? Building your brands, building your online presence by leveraging social media platforms. It can all seem impossible, like too much to handle. But here's the truth. The situation isn't just challenging, it is demanding. It's demanding you and me to step up and claim our unique value, to set up a digital presence that actually works, to show up authentically and connect, to stack up strategies for real growth, and ultimately to stay up strong and impactful, no matter what comes next. This is the blueprint for thriving. Are you ready to meet today's demands and conquer tomorrow? This transformative summit is completely free to attend. Don't miss out. Secure your spots for the Step Up, Set Up, Show Up, Stack Up and Stay Up Summit.
Innovative instigation.
Hi everyone, it's Lianzo Mtembu from Innovative Instigation Enterprise. I'd like to welcome you to our day 2 of our 6-day summit titled Step Up, Set Up, Show Up, Stack Up, and actually Stay Up, right? The underlying theme of the summit is to help share on how we can elevate our brands by leveraging social media, especially in times of disruption and in times of uncertainty. So as a co-founder, I wanted to share on what one of the elements means to me. The first element of setting up. I wrote 3 things down. The first one is, it actually means breaking down old habits that are keeping us down and tying us down in order for us. Hi everyone, it's Lianzo Mtembu from Innovative Instigation Enterprise. I'd like to welcome you to our day 2 of our 6-day summit titled Step Up, Set Up, Show Up, Stack Up, and actually Stay Up, right? The underlying theme of the summit is to help share on how we can elevate our brands by leveraging social media, especially in times of disruption and in times of uncertainty. So as a co-founder, I wanted to share on what one of the elements means to me. The first element of setting up. I wrote 3 things down. The first one is, it actually means breaking down old habits that are keeping us down and tying us down in order for us to be able to build new habits which will unlock opportunities in our lives. The second thing I wanted to highlight is that the event also seeks to help us to find the inspiration and the motivation that we need for us to actually step up into facing the challenges that we need to face in order for us to unlock the opportunities that we need to unlock for our lives. The last thing that I wanted to share is that the stepping up element is actually a call to inspire people to rise up to the challenge, to actually live their best lives. And that is a life which is impactful and one which is worth living, because at the end of the day, we only have one life. I would like to also share on what the second component of the summit, setting up, what does that entail? So I wrote 3 things down here. The first thing is that we need to actually sharpen our skills and expertise in order for us to be positioned to solve meaningful problems. We all know that the world, the global space at large, it's a very huge marketplace, and people are rewarded for the problems that they solve. So it's important for us to realize that as we're trying to position our brands, we need to realize that we need to sharpen our skills, sharpen our expertise, and package our expertise as well. in order for us to be positioned to solve meaningful problems. The second thing that I wrote down is that we need to create systems of leverage. Systems of leverage means that how can you create an advantage for yourself so that you can attract the clients, the people, the organizations that would actually require your services. How do you create systems of leverage for yourself? The third thing is that how can you stay in a position where you can seize opportunities when they come? So setting up is how you ready yourself for the opportunities that you're looking for, how you position yourself for the things that you desire for your life, for your brand, for your business, depending on what your aspirations are. I hope you enjoy the summit.
Innovative instigation.
Hello everyone, this is Lianza Mtembu from Innovative Instigation Enterprise, and I'm with
Tapotsela Yakusi, the other co-founder of Innovative Instigation Enterprise.
Oh yes, I'm also a co-founder of Innovative Instigation Enterprise. I'd like to welcome you to our very much anticipated summit. I hope you're excited as we are. Are you excited?
Very excited.
Do you want to tell us more about the summit?
Oh yes. Yeah. Well, our summit is us going on a tour to elevate our brands, leveraging social media so that we can go forward and make progress in our careers, in our businesses, and even if you're still a student as well, same WhatsApp group, as it often is said. Yeah.
That's good. So our underlying theme for the summit is it's talking about the idea of elevating our personal brands, our business brands, even through leveraging social media, right? And how we can create opportunities for ourselves and actually set up and position ourselves for all that we desire to achieve and we aspire to do. So we have a great lineup of speakers, of panel sessions. Today is day 2, and we have a wonderful speaker all the way from Ghana, and we're actually recording from Eswatini. So we are very interested on this topic because we realized how the realities of how things are very uncertain in the times that we're living in, and how things like technology, AI is disrupting the very nature of what our worldviews, and it's disrupting it's the career and professional space. It's disrupting the education sector. So it's very important for us to then think about how everyone can actually build a brand around who they are, right? And how they can elevate their lives by building a strong and robust brand. So we are very much excited for to have you guys here with us and to actually engage some of these things and with our very much anticipated guest. Do you want to introduce her?
Yes, I want to introduce Gifty. And guys, I'm not very fluent in speaking other languages, huh? So her name is Gifty Achiampong, you know. Gifty, forgive me. I'm trying to say your surname nicely.
All right, at that moment, we welcome Gift. Are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Hi. We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Loud and clear.
Ah, that's amazing.
Good evening from here.
How are you today? How are you in Ghana?
Ghana is fine. I'm doing well. It's we had some rains in the past few days, but in between it's a bit sunny. Gets sunny sometimes, but soon we'll have a heavy rain. And apart from that, everything is fine.
We're excited to be able to have this session. As we know that yesterday we had our own experiences of disruption, but today, thankfully, we managed to connect. So yes, with that, we would like to I just like to give an introduction about who Gifty is and a background, because yes, she's got a 15 years combined experience in business administration, human resources, and global logistics. She understands the operational and people-related challenges that leaders face. She works directly with business leaders, founders, to build performing workplaces through people strategy, leadership alignment, and positive workplace culture. She builds organizations, drive business growth by reshaping culture and boosting productivity by making sure that we are creating environments where both it's important, the business and the people thrive. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, really it is. We're so excited about that.
All right, Gifty, do you want to tell us more about the work that you're doing currently before we get into our session?
Thank you very much. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Hello, everyone. So I'm Gifty Echampong. Tepo, you got it right. Gifty Echampong
Okay.
from Ghana. And from Ghana, I, like you said, an introduction, I've been in about three or four industries, from global logistics to people management and then business administration. And I've been on both sides of the table. I've been an employee who was navigating challenges, and I've also been a leader who helps shape the workplace culture and then help to enhance the employee experience. I seem to be getting feedback. So. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So that's a bit of what I do now. Because the workplace is such that we spend most of our time in the workplace. So it's in order, or it pays to create this environment where people feel supported, they feel inspired, and then they feel valued to give their all.
True. On average, a person spends, let's say, 40 hours
40.
40 hours per week, and that's a lot of time. So if you're spending that amount of time, it cannot be a place where you're dreading to go there, you're getting depressed, you want to avoid it or anything like that. It really makes all the difference. It's something that is critical to look into, and both from the perspective of the employer and the employee, both have actual active roles and responsibilities in cultivating that space so that it's conducive for both parties. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be looking at that um, as we go on. Yes, of course.
Yeah. So I do realize that our theme for the session, it's titled Stepping Up to Set Up Space, Systems and Support for Unstoppable Growth and for unstoppable growth as career leaders. I'm so happy that you mentioned that in your career experience you've worked as an ordinary employee, then you also had opportunities to grow from that level into a leader within the organizations that you've worked for. I think the reason why that is important is because you had an experience of a bit of both worlds, because in a position of leadership you find that you get to really understand how organizations work, at that level. You get to learn about strategic visions of the organization and other things that you were not pretty much aware of when you were at ground level. So from that, it then becomes a very interesting topic to get into, that in the world of AI disruption, where work environments are changing. I mean, we just came back from COVID-19, which happened not so long ago, and we realized the fast-paced disruptions which were happening just out of that pandemic. So from your point of view, how would you maybe like to share in the realities of work experience, workplace experience, career growth for employees, professional development for employees in these realities?
All right, thank you. So, in my perspective, career growth or development is not solely the responsibility of the employer, of the, it's a shared responsibility. You as an individual or the employee also need to step up in terms of developing yourself, to upskill, to take on new courses, to attend workshops, for instance, to read books, and then to network. Yeah. So it's not solely the responsibility of, of the employer. For instance, taking for instance COVID, that hit us all hard. If you are not technology inclined, it will be difficult to navigate the different seasons that we went through. So you as an employee, I'll start with the employee. As an employee, has to look beyond what the organization provides or has in place. It is your duty, because that development is for yourself. It's for yourself. You need to build on your skills. What you used to do before, what you knew some years ago, are no more or would no longer be applicable. So you need to keep step up by, you know, continuous learning. It's not, you don't just learn once and stop. As in probably earning a degree and then you end there. No, you need to do more. You need to do more as an employee, because these days the degree alone is not enough. You need to do more. You need to build skills, soft skills, technical skills. You need to learn them and apply them, get used to them. Then you can transfer these skills into the workplace. And then, can I add something, please? And then on the part of the employer, um, they also need to put in place training, continuous development sessions for employees, because it's very important. It's not, it helps navigate or embrace the challenges that are emerging.
Definitely.
Yeah, I actually resonate with what you're saying. I'm a career person as well, and I've had the opportunity of growing with the company that I work for. So I think from a very early age in my career, I realized that I can't really leave my personal development and my future development to the hands of my employer. For example, when I finished my first degree, when I came back and wanted to do my master's, there were certain processes within the company that maybe did not really allow you to further your studies in that way. So when you're just engaging the reality of people needing to see the opportunities around them that are being provided even by technology, you then realize that you can continue to develop yourself even in the comfort of your own home, right? I mean, there are so many online courses that people can take. And what's great is that we've seen a lot of academic institutions actually offering these flexible courses for people who are doing their 9 to 5 full employment, right? And this has actually been a game changer for a lot of career people. So you find that, yes, I'm still doing my 9 to 5, but as soon as I knock off, I'm a student, right? So it's one of the things that I learned very early in my own career, that it's a two-way thing. As Gifty mentioned, it's a two-way thing. The employer does assist to the degree that they're able to assist. But I think also, as we're talking about the reality of the technological disruptions and the realities of AI and the shifts that we're seeing within the marketplace, I think as Gifty was saying, that it's really important for employers as well, right, to actually acclimatize to these realities, because one of the concerns I've been having is how many people, whether organizations or individuals, they're very much aware of the disruption which is ongoing. They're very much aware of AI. They can tell you something about it. But the biggest problem that I see is that only a few people are actually positioning themselves for those opportunities which are coming with this, right? Only a few people are actually being bothered. Many people are actually at a place of total comfort, yet the information is there. Yes, they're seeing the videos on TikTok, right? They're seeing the videos on Instagram, that a lot of things are changing, and the way of work is changing, the reality of work is changing. So it then becomes important for both the individual and the employer, as you rightly mentioned, that we now start to take actionable steps to see how we can transform our organizations, right, in order for us to leverage on some of these opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. I'm in agreement about that. And what I wanted to what I wanted to cite and highlight was that the way things are going, an individual is actually, I think it's strategic for them to manage their careers as if it's a business. Even though they are employees, you need to think of your career as a business, and see yourself that, okay, I'm a service provider to this company. And if you think about it in that way, it allows you to really, assess things more holistically than maybe if you just coming in and saying, okay, I'm an employee and okay, the employer is just going to take care of me, because the way the situations are happening, the trends, all the developments and things like that, anything can happen, and you can't just focus on, like being, how can I put it, funnel minded, like so, no, tunnel visioned, not funnel minded, being tunnel visioned and not looking at other things and like the whole picture, the 360 view. I don't know, what are your thoughts about such a mindset, or adopting that mindset of an employee managing their career as if it is a business?
All right. The the has a responsibility to live up to the expectation of the business goals or the business vision. But before then, you as an individual or the individual needs to identify their personal values. You need to have values as an individual. You don't just go with anything. You need to know what motivates you. You need to know what inspires you. You also need to know, for instance, what you can tolerate or what you can take. How Let me give examples. For instance, integrity. Are you somebody who upholds the truth? Are you somebody who is honest? You need to identify these before you can align with the organizational values. So let's say you're somebody who who doesn't speak the truth, but who is okay. He or she could compromise on their value of speaking the truth. There's not even a value. You compromise on settling to lie at the expense of somebody's. You need to look at that. Does it align with the company you're working in or you want to work with? So, first of all, identify these values, test them, see make notes of what triggers you as an individual. What is it that you're not comfortable with? You need to get all these in place. I've noticed that some people apply for jobs and they're just looking at the income, the salary that they'll make. I mean, it's just to get by and make ends meet. But that is not all. Because if your focus is only on the salary, you're wrong. You're not going to live up to expectation. And then it will come to a time that it will hit you so hard, your appointment could be terminated because you're not living, working according to meeting the values of the company. So it's something that is personal to you as an individual. You need to take the business or the job as yours. Something that you put in your all, give out your all, even when no one is watching. Okay, this is the right thing to do. Let me do it. I need to do this. I need to encourage somebody else. I need to help someone else achieve that goal. And then secondly, you also need to have your own goals, your own vision. For instance, where do you want to see yourself in the next 5 years? Do you want to be seen? Do you want to be doing the same thing that you used to do 5 years ago? Or in 10 years' time, you want to be at the same place? No, you should have some goals as an individual in place, realistic goals smarts that are specific, measurable. You can actually track them and ensure that you're on the right path as an individual. When you're able to understand these things as an individual and you work, you go to work, you are able to try and transfer these values, or link values to the company's values, and then you fit in and you can work and then give up your best. But without these values, you find yourself, constantly complaining, having issues because you don't understand where the company is going. And then thirdly, as an individual, you also need to uphold the values of the company, not only internally but externally. How you show up online, how you show up outside work. It's either builds or destroys the company's reputation. So you need to also, it's not only when you're at work or you close at 5 or 6 p.m. and that's the end. No, how you show up online. Do you consistently uphold the values even online? Your personal brand. Do you constantly uphold those values? Do you speak against them? Are you somebody who is putting up content or showing up contrary to your brand? Is this something that will align with the overall goals? You need to look at all that. And then fourthly, as an individual, you also are an employee. You also need to build your personal, your values, what you stand for, what you intend to do, what you intend to achieve, the impact that you intend to um, make on people. You need to build your personal brand online. And these days, we are so lucky, technology is all over the place. It's unfortunately some people are misusing it. Um, you know, for fun and all that, but you can actually leverage social media for all these, for your personal brand, and the business as well can also make use or leverage on social media.
That's really good. I have quite a few takeaways from what you said. I really like, just to try and connect the different things that you highlighted and mentioned. I really like how you said that, of course, social media allows for us to build very strong personal brands, right? And what you mentioned really amplifies on the importance that people need to be, whether it's an organization or an individual, we need to be very intentional about how you present yourself. And there is something that you mentioned when you were comparing people and organizations, that there's something called values. We all know that an organization also have its mission and values and all of that. But as an individual as well, when you carry yourself and treat your maybe your career as a business, right? A business exists within an environment, right? And it interacts with the external world. We're talking about disruptions. We're talking about a lot of things which are happening within the marketplace, but there are also like internal factors that affect how the business operates. So as an individual as well, there are certain internal factors that you bring into that environment. And you mentioned integrity, right? You want to show up as a person of integrity, and you want that people should actually attach that to your brand. As a career person, you can show up in a way whereby you highlight your greatest areas of interest and contribution within your career, right? What are you reading? What are you working on, right? What's new within what you're doing? So in showing up in that way, it actually, I remember a friend of mine was just telling me that a personal brand actually needs not only to attract a certain type of people, but it also needs to repel, a certain type of people because of what you stand for as a person, what you stand for as an organization. So I like how you mentioned the whole personal brand thing and linking it to values. What values do you uphold? So it's quite interesting to see it in that way, and actually then to utilize what is there, social media, to actually then amplify and create that visibility, create that online footprint for yourself in order for you to expose yourself to the people that need to see you, right? Because the reason why you are showing up authentically as a person of integrity, as a person of particular career interest, is because you are trying to attract certain opportunities which come with that. So I really appreciate how that was my takeaway, Tshepo, from that session which you said.
Yeah. Okay, I want to
All right.
just
Thank you.
make my input as well. I liked one of the things that really struck a chord for me is that okay, you have to take the responsibility as an individual, even though you're going to work for an organization. Yes, recognize if you are choosing to look at yourself or run your career as if it's a company itself, even though you are going to work as an employee, you are actually thinking about who you're going to choose to associate with. So you as the employee as well are also choosing that organization that you end up working for, or giving your labor to, your services to, and representing it. So when you think of yourself as an organization as well, then it does help you to get the perspective right, to be able to take personal responsibility and not really just shift it onto the employer themselves only. And you highlighted, yes, not to just focus on just the remuneration, as in just the pay only, because there are serious dangers in that. Because when we first started, you highlighted that we spend a lot of time of your lives at work. If you're spending 40 hours, at least 40 hours a week in a place of work, that's a lot of time. And so it needs to be in a place that really aligns to what makes you thrive, what lights you up, what excites you, and not just for the sake of getting money, And so the other thing is that if the organization itself does not stand for what you're about, you also need to be able to check that, because some employers, well, they're just about money, and they don't care how they're affecting the environment or other people, and which corners they cut, what kind of suppliers they have, and all of that. And if that's important, because you need to understand that as well, especially now because of this, what you just mentioned, that you'll be managing your personal brand, right? You'll be managing it online. You said you spoke about looking at yourself internally, how you show up internally and externally, that as you are out there, not just 9 to 5, but even after hours. So I'm making reference to that point and how that really matters, because indeed, even on the same applies to the company you chose to, render your services to as an employee. Their values really need to align with yours. You have to take responsibility for that. Imagine you're working for a company that, later on you discover that they're busy, cheating people just to make profits. They don't even care who gets hurt, what happens, those are part of the things. And so I just gathered that, because you spoke about integrity, it still goes back to that, the integrity of you, and whether that organization as well, aligns in that way. So I'm just giving the contrast in terms of what came out to me because of what you have said.
Yeah. I have a question for Gifty. Since this session also needs to look into how do we create the right spaces, right? of course, on the organization side and individual side. In a reality whereby there's so much unemployment and underemployment, what would you think motivates or should motivate organizations or individuals to really pay attention to things like workplace culture and the employee experience that comes with maybe working for a particular organization? Because some people will say, like just writing from what we mentioned earlier about just wanting to get a job for the sake of having something, a bit of money to do certain things. What motivates people, in the reality of underemployment and a lot of people not having jobs and a lot of people not being able to choose the jobs that they really would want to work in? What should motivate organizations and what should motivate employees as well to really pay attention to issues of employee experience and a very healthy workplace culture?
All right. I'll start with the employer. All right. So uh, these days, the employee or potential employee perspective about employment has changed. There used to be more of compensation inclined, that is salary, but now people are looking beyond the salary. They're looking beyond personal, beyond the growth. So as an employer, if your compensation package should be attractive, your environment or your space should encourage growth. It should be something that would attract the potential candidate or the potential employee with a mindset that he or she is coming in to contribute to the growth of the company and then also have something in return, because they are bringing in their time, their skills, their expertise, and then they are going to be there for a long time. They're going to spend about 40 hours a week minimum. So they need to also get something in return for that period they are working. So as an employer, it's important to make it attractive to them in terms of the whole package, not only compensation, but then you should have growth opportunities in terms of training. You could train them, and there should be promotions. You know, you should have something that, like, the person doesn't come in and for the next 5 years he or she is at the same place. There's no growth. Whereas he or she could fit into a bigger role. So you should have that at the back of your mind. And then as the employee also, it is your duty to also, what motivates them as the employee is not only the salary or the compensation when you are already within the organization. It is how your leaders show up, or how the space, the environment is so safe for you to work without fear or favor, to speak up when you can or when it's necessary without any backslash. It should encourage a psychological safety where you can speak up your mind respectfully, though, and I stress on that, respectfully. You can make your point clear when you're not comfortable with something. Those things, yes, usually do motivate employees, because someone could leave a fat paycheck just because he or she is not valued, he's not heard, he's not listened to, and they feel that, okay, so they don't care about me. because each time they bring up a suggestion or an idea, they are not listened to. They, they're like, okay, you're not important. Yours is, you could, you could wait. They don't pay attention to. So that kind of environment, leaders need to pay attention to that and create a space where people are inspired. I mean, they are okay to work. They're able to contribute from their heart and then give up their best.
That's really good. I like the last thing that you mentioned, that it's the duty of leaders to actually create a work environment which inspires the employees, right? And it's only in a very healthy and a very conducive work environment whereby employees can really be very productive, but as well as innovative and creative, in how they do their work. Many times we realize that many employees, they just go to work just to clock in, and if you would actually look into the productivity that they gave that day, you may find that it's almost close to nothing. So I think gone are the days when employees would maybe stay with one organization for the rest of their lives. The way that the world is changing so fast, and also the opportunities that things like social media is allowing for people to build businesses, right? To advertise their skills and expertise, to actually start side hustles, right? There was one great thing that I think social media maybe has allowed for, is for people to actually be able to package their experience and their expertise and their skill sets, and to actually sell that and to a wider global audience, which is something that was maybe not there a few years ago, such that maybe people with skills would still think that I'm tied into this organization, even if the work culture there is quite toxic, or there is no opportunity for growth, or ideas are not appreciated, or employees are demoralized and all of that. But by the world just opening up and so many opportunities being availed for all people in the global environment, it is just shaking organization to the reality that they should not think that employees will always be there. So then when the reality is like that, it starts to matter how organizations imbibe this whole work experience thing as part of their organizational brand, and what they try to use to actually attract the skill sets that they're looking for. So it becomes very, very important in times that we're actually living in.
That's very true. For me, as he's highlighting this, I'm just thinking about how also for an employer, if an employer doesn't actually take heed to this, I mean, nowadays, because of what social media now allows, we're on LinkedIn, for example. Mm-hmm. People can just look at your portfolio already and headhunt you, give you offers. There are so many possibilities right now. And so employers at the same time, if they don't work on these motivators, like that you have highlighted in terms of, like creating that space that's supportive and enables growth, having that psychological safety or enabling psychological safety, allowing employees to speak and, do projects that help them to get that personal fulfillment, personal and professional, right? But if you don't do that, I mean, because of what the social media platforms allow, especially LinkedIn, for example, everybody's seeing what you have. Back in the days, we used to just be thinking, okay, a CV is something private, but now just because of LinkedIn, there's creative, fun, engaging, interesting ways to just make yourself so appealing. And it now is an emphasis to employers as well to know that, you know what, it's either you're going to be willing to be flexible and accommodative, or else, you know, stand a chance to lose, because your employer, your employees, they are on LinkedIn, and then, you know, they can easily be taken by other organizations because they who appreciate that.
Right.
So they, and also at the same time, I'll still say you can't as employers, you have to think about, as while you want to allow flexibility, there's the whole issue of are you going to be exclusive? You just want the employee all to yourself. You don't want to give them, you know, certain flexibilities because maybe you want to protect your interests, right? And then you may feel that there can be distractions and all. I mean, there are different ways that employers can view what constitutes an attractive package, you know, and maybe have a fear and not be so open. But the reality is, because of social media now, there's that openness that it now gives, you know. You cannot exactly say you're just going to be exclusive. People can be having side hustles. They can be participating in the gig economy now. With, you know, whilst they're having the 9 to 5. So, you know, I just wanted to add that that's quite an important factor to think about, the motivators, and why we need to factor, you know, things more deeply, really taking cognizance of what it all means. Yeah. But yeah.
That's good.
Yes.
I think I'd want to ask one more thing from Gifty.
Yeah.
What would you say the reality of platforms, like social media platforms, has created in the space of maybe continuous learning? You mentioned about the importance of, you know, employees taking full responsibility of their continuous learning. I know someone once said that where you stop to learn, that's where your success ends. How does social media actually help employees, maybe like platforms like LinkedIn, to sort of continuously develop themselves, employees to continuously build skills, but as well to also find mentors, you know, because I believe that in the space that we're living in, it's also important for one to have sort of like mentors who will guide them between where they are and where they want to be,